Welcome back to Moving to Hampton Roads. My name is David Tortellini, and today is all about Williamsburg and what you can get for around $500,000. $500,000 is a very key number here in Williamsburg, since the median sales price for a single-family home so far in 2025 has been a little bit above $500,000, and the median sales price for all homes, including condos and townhomes, is a little bit below $500,000. So this is a really great price point to start for anybody thinking about moving to the Williamsburg area. So what that means is that in today's video, we're going to take a look at different neighborhoods throughout Williamsburg where you may find a home for around $500,000. We'll go from Jamestown to Upper Williamsburg. We'll go into some of the big neighborhoods you may have heard of, like Kingsmill, and we're going to try and give you a good understanding of about what $500,000 gets you here. So of course, these aren't going to be the only neighborhoods where you can get a home for $500,000. These are just going to be representations of that price point. So once you have more questions, you can always reach out. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email anytime. Always happy to help point in the direction of other neighborhoods that are going to fit this price point if you are shopping in that $500,000 range. Okay, so we're going to be mostly in the car for this video. I'm going to drive you through a few different neighborhoods, kind of tell you a little bit about them, give you a good understanding for some different parts of the Williamsburg area and what we're going to get at this $500,000 price point. All right, let's get in the car and get to it. Alrighty, we're going to start with a handful of neighborhoods over in the Jamestown section of Williamsburg. This is a really great area overall for this $500,000 price point. So we're going to start off in Berkeleys Green. This is one of my personal favorite neighborhoods. It's become an extremely popular neighborhood over the years, and it's really been driven, I think, in large part by its amenities, its HOA. So it only has a $60 a month HOA, but has a great pool, phenomenal basketball court, playground, all sorts of stuff. And I think it really brings the community together. And that's one thing people really love about Berkeleys Green. Now, for this $500,000 price point, you're typically going to be looking at something like a 4-bed, 2.5 bath home, somewhere in the 2,000 to 2,500 square foot range. So that's actually going to carry over into most of the neighborhoods that we look at that are of this style. And what you're going to see here is that that range is really going to depend on if it's seen a few updates or not. But people really love this neighborhood. It's broken up into 4 sections, with kind of the 2 front sections being the older section, and then it gets newer as you move into the back, and it does get a little bit more expensive there. You know, some of the larger homes in this neighborhood can sell for up to $600,000. So you really can get a bit of a range here in this community, but that $500,000 price point is probably going to be at the kind of nice, a little bit higher end for this neighborhood. It also has direct access to like the Capitol Trail, which is a 50-mile bike path all the way to Richmond. You've got great breweries in the area that are really fun and that you can bike to. So you'll see families from this whole area on their bikes on the bike trail. Spoken Art's a great little cafe just a few hundred yards down the street from this neighborhood as well. So there's just a lot going on right in this area, which will bring us over to our next neighborhood. This is the Pointe at Jamestown. So we're really not too far away. We're only maybe a half mile down the street from Berkeleys Green, but you're going to get a little bit of a different feel here in the Pointe. And this neighborhood doesn't have quite all the HOA stuff that the last neighborhood does. Still does have a $52 a month HOA, but really here you're going to be down Jamestown Road is how you access this neighborhood. So a little bit different that way. And it backs right up to the Powhatan Creek Trail, which connects into the Capitol Trail and the Green Springs Trails, where you have, hiking in the woods and historic battlefields all around. So very neat. Actually even has church on the Main in this, which was the original church used by the Jamestown island settlers back when the colony originally was founded. So really historic, amazing neighborhood here as well, where again, you're going to see homes in this area that are going to be in this kind of 4-bed, 2.5 bath, 2,400 square foot sort of size range are going to be here in the Pointe as well. or maybe you'd like to be further up closer to Route 199, maybe it makes getting to work a little bit easier, shave a couple minutes off your commute, you could look at a neighborhood like Westray Downs. And these were built in the late 80s and early 90s, and this neighborhood has a little bit of a different feel from the last two we were in. Now, what was great about the last two neighborhoods for a lot of people, especially if you have little kids and you're looking to do the playground in the backyard, trampoline, all that good stuff, is those last two neighborhoods that have nice flat yards. Here in Westray Downs, you're going to get more hilly lots, and you're going to get more woods. So this is a really great feel for people who maybe don't need the big expansive yard. It becomes a little bit of an issue if you do, but up here, you're also going to be really close to Claribird Baker Elementary School, which is what it's zoned for, and it's just a $42 a month HOA. So as you're going to see in a lot of Williamsburg, most neighborhoods are in an HOA, even if the dollar amount isn't very much, but it's mostly to maintain rules and regulations for the neighborhood, and usually there's maybe a small playground, something like that at the very least. But this is another great option if you like the general Jamestown area, but having maybe direct access to those trails or isn't nearly as big a deal. You're also here going to be really close to things like the Harris Teeter grocery store and Ace Hardware. But I think people like this because it is a little bit closer to 199, gets you to work a little faster if you've got to jump on the highway in the morning. You know, there also is another neighborhood that's even closer to the elementary school that's right across the street that's called Village Square. And this is a nice little small neighborhood that you can walk to the Harris Teeter I just mentioned. It does have a Starbucks in it, so that might be worth it. Great little pizza place in there, Little Charlie's. Or it's really, you can walk right across the street to the elementary school. So if you want to walk with your kids to school in the morning, it's literally across the street. So very nice. And again, it's just all going to be about that same sort of thing where a typical home in this part of town that's a pretty traditional style for around $500,000. Expect to be looking at something that's like a 4-bed, 2.5 bath, kind of 2,000 to 2,600 square foot sort of price range or size range in this price point. And if being in the Jamestown area isn't all that important to you, but you still like a mostly traditional style of home, you may want to look at a neighborhood like Scots Pond. So Scots Pond is up in kind of the northern section of Williamsburg, just on the north end, right behind the outlet mall. So that's going to give you access to 170 stores right there. So if you like to shop, that can either be a great thing or maybe a bad thing for the budget, but phenomenal location, having access to a fantastic Harris Teeter grocery store, Panera Bread right up the street, or you can head down Richmond Road where you're going to have dozens of restaurants, a lot of shops. It is a touristy heavy area because Richmond Road contains a lot of the hotels that people stay at when they come visit Williamsburg. So you're going to have like the Christmas Mouse store and a lot of really fun things like that. So really just kind of being off of Richmond Road is great. And this is a really big neighborhood too. Built in the early 2000s, only has a $10 HOA, you know, little different school zone. You're going to have Lafayette High here and Norge Elementary School. So different vibe in this community and just the entire area in general than being over in the Jamestown area, which is a little bit more kind of back towards the water and a little bit more secluded. This is just going to give you a little bit faster access to a lot more things. And this neighborhood's really popular because you can probably get a little bit more value here as well. There's a really good chance that instead of looking in the 2,000 to 2,500 square foot range, you might be looking more in the 2,300 to 2,800 square foot range if you want to stay around $500,000. So you can probably get a couple hundred square feet more here in Scots Pond than you can in some of those Jamestown neighborhoods that we mentioned without really sacrificing much at all, depending on what you're looking for your total lifestyle. So Scots Pond is another great opportunity, and we're going to have a total shift in the dynamic, and we're going to talk about some townhome style communities, and that's going to bring us over to Village Walk in Newtown. So Newtown is this live, work, play community in Williamsburg. It's very popular no matter where you live in Williamsburg, this will become a part of your life. There's a good movie theater there, a lot of great restaurants like Anatolia, Taco Mexicali, which is opening in a couple weeks, Opus 9, which is a beautiful steakhouse. It's got a big Barnes & Noble and a lot of other shopping in the area too. And then it's got a lot of the services like attorneys and accountants, dentists, medical providers, interior designers, all of that kind of stuff is going to be in the Newtown area as well. So a lot of your resources that you're looking for, you're going to find there. And so this is a really wonderful place to live, and you can get a beautiful townhome here. It can be anywhere from about 2 to 4 beds. They're going to be over 2,000 square feet. It is walkable to a lot of these places, and that's one of the big differences here, because Williamsburg, for the most part, not a walkable community, but it is if you want to be here in Newtown and have access to all of these great things. You are looking at a $336 a month HOA, so that can, come into factor as well with some of these townhomes, but really just they're beautiful. They're in a phenomenal area, and they really do give you a lot of access and a unique way of living here in Williamsburg. Now, another great option for a townhome might be down in Kingsmill. If you're familiar at all with Kingsmill, you'll know this is a big gated golf course community, beautiful clubhouse, tons of social events. There's a ton going on in Kingsmill. But at the $500,000 price point, it's just highly unlikely that you're going to get a single family home in this community. So looking at maybe a neighborhood like Archer's Mead, which were built in the 80s. They do have a high HOA fee of $554 a month, but there you can get a home between 2,000 and 2,500 square feet. And really in this neighborhood, because of the age, I'll say the price is mostly now dependent on the condition. So the homes that have seen these beautiful updates are going to sell for a lot more. And the homes that, haven't seen too much for the last 40 years now are going to sell for on the lower end. And, this is a really great opportunity to have, very easy living kind of community where you're not going to be doing yard work or anything like that, and have access to, you can upgrade to get the like racket membership to play tennis and pickleball. You can do full golf memberships. There's going to be a lot of opportunity. And in this neighborhood, also pretty good if you're looking for like a second home. A lot of these are second or third homes for people who come down and just want to use them as their golf spot and be in Williamsburg. And then you could even be right across the street from there in Littletown Quarter, where you might be looking at something a little bit smaller, actually, more like 1,400 to 2,000 square feet, similar HOA in this neighborhood, and actually even a little bit older. This is part of the original building that took place in Kingsmill, and so these were built in the 70s. Just some of the higher end things here in this neighborhood, a lot more of these homes have a golf course view. And so if you want the golf course view, you may pay a few extra bucks to get that. So again, Kingsmill, huge, beautiful neighborhood. At the very end of this video, I'll make sure there's a card up so you can see we have a nice big 45-minute tour of this community. So you can take a look at that as well. But if you're looking at Kingsmill and you've heard of that and you want to be in it, single families probably going to get priced out at $500, but you can pick up a great townhome here in the neighborhood. All right, and this final section is going to be for if you are looking for a 55 plus community. So if you've been doing some research on Williamsburg, you may be familiar with Colonial Heritage. This is our big 1,800 plus home community in northern Williamsburg. Golf course community, has the big clubhouse, has tons of clubs, has a lot going on, and it is strictly 55 plus. Here, for around $500,000, you can get a 3-bed, 3 full bath home that's going to be between 2,000 and 3,000 square feet. So you can get a really nice size home in Colonial Heritage at that $500,000 price point. Now, it also means that below that, you could even build a new townhome here until they all sell out, which should be the next 4 or 5 months. Or you could go, if you want to get into the higher price points, you can get a really big home here. There are some homes here in the 5,000 square foot range, which for a 55 plus community is a lot of square footage. So this is just for people who really love this idea of not having a ton of kids around. They still have multiple pools. There's a million clubs to join. It's a big social neighborhood, and a lot of people really love Colonial Heritage. The other big 55 plus community in the area that's currently being built is called Tranquility. And this is by Ryan Homes. And if you want to build new and you want a single family home here, then this is going to be your opportunity. So you might look at a 2-bed, 2-bath with a bunch of upgrades, or maybe a 3-bed, 3-bath that doesn't have as many upgrades, but you get a little bit more square footage. So not unreasonable to be looking at something between, say, 1,600 square feet and maybe 2,000 square feet to build new. So really just depends on where you are. Tranquility is not a golf course community, so still 55 plus. It's going to have some great amenities when it's all said and done. But if you want the golf cart life, a lot of people in Colonial Heritage have the golf carts. Tranquility, not so much. So we're going to see how that evolves over time as that community comes to completion, and then they're able to kind of figure out what kind of vibe the whole neighborhood's going to have. So really just a very, very good opportunity to build new, or you can go up to Colonial Heritage, purchase a resale home. If you go single family, it will be resale at this point, and get something really nice in the $500,000 range. Now, if you like the look of Tranquility, but you aren't 55 plus, or you don't care if you're in a 55 plus community, another great option to build new might be Waller Mill Heights. So that's really close by to Tranquility. Very similar sort of feel, sort of look to it. And this is another neighborhood that's nearby. And so I think that is really how we're going to end our tour today. We've looked at a whole bunch of neighborhoods. I know we were quick through them all, but I think this gives you a really good feel of what you can get kind of throughout Williamsburg. Of course, this is just a small percentage of those homes. So this is where we'll end up finishing up for today. Thank you so much for watching today's video on what you can get for $500,000 in Williamsburg, Virginia in 2025. I hope you found this video extremely informative, and it gives you a really good understanding of about what you can expect if you're thinking about making a move here this year. If you take a look in the description below, you'll see a link that goes back to my website where you can see anything that's currently available in this price range anytime you watch this video. This is a really great place to start your home search and see what else is out there. So we won't just include the neighborhoods that we looked at today, we'll make it for the entire Williamsburg area. Of course, if you have additional questions, or you want just more information on other neighborhoods that may be a really good fit for you, you can give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email anytime. I would absolutely love to help you out with your home search. I help people who watch my YouTube channel buy and sell homes here in Williamsburg and the surrounding area all the time. So I'd absolutely love to work with you too. In the meantime, you can like this video, share it with anyone else you know who may be making a move to the Williamsburg area, and subscribe to this channel. Again, my name is David Tortellini. I'm with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for watching.